Okay, so this video is based off of Saint Andrean, um, so aka Malcolm Sutherland. So this is one of his old videos. It's actually his breakthrough video into the YouTube world, from what I've experienced. And I remember this video. It was back in 2015. And this was when he was 34 years old. He just vents about finishing, postgraduate college, and he's still a virgin and just trapped with it, trapped living with his parents because he has no income. So let's right, let's get right to it.
If someone had said to me 20 years ago when I was 14 and a half that I would score ones and twos in my standard grades, score A's and B's in all my hires, and go to university and earn a 2-1 BSc, a first-class postgraduate qualification, and even study up to and earn a PhD in science.
Yeah, those are accomplishments. I mean, I got up to a bachelor's degree, a bachelor's in science and biology, but I never got higher than that. And you know, and I was still able to find employment within my field. I'm not trying to flex or anything, but I'm just saying, like, it's such a sad reality that this guy has to go through. But yeah.
And after all that, my job prospects would end up being even worse than they were when I left school. And if someone had told me 20 years ago that 20 years hence I would still be living with my parents, and I would still be a virgin, and
Jeez.
I will be unemployed, having never secured a steady career anywhere, I would have been absolutely flabbergasted.
I mean, even if you factor the virgin part out, that's still that's still a horrible way to live, though.
20 years ago, I was a fairly mediocre to average school pupil attending my high school. There were people in my classes who were more popular than me. There were people in my classes who were certainly more intelligent than me.
Yep, that's me, all right.
And I had not many friends, but some friends. And we were all being brought up in a rural, obscure part of Britain. And the grown-ups around me, most of them, they held jobs. They held fairly common, ordinary jobs. They worked as tradesmen, they worked as teachers, they worked as medics, they worked in shops, they worked on the roads. Some of them worked on the farms. Most people around me, most of the adults whom I encountered when I was back at school, were fairly ordinary people. There was nothing particularly distinguished or extraordinary about them. Today's knowledge economy demands that every applicant, whether someone's applying to become a janitor or applying to become a CEO, must be a person of superlative achievements and abilities. It's almost become a eugenic system we have now, because a century ago, the Edwardians, no, actually they were the Georgians by then. People a century ago were seriously talking about mass experimentation upon the human population by sterilising and thereby eliminating people who were considered to be imbeciles, eliminating them from the mainstream of society and from the economy. I'm not making this up. Read it up. Pick up a history book. You'll find this. Eugenics. It's where Nazism came from. And I find that today's economy is eugenic. And when I left school, I could easily pick up a job working as a catering assistant, working as a caretaker, working in a shop. It was easy. My friends and I, we were not extraordinary, famous, brilliant individuals. We were not destined for great things, and yet, when we left school, we picked up jobs. Back 20 years ago, back when I was struggling in some of my class subjects, and some of my classmates were taking the mickey out of me as a result, my friends around me said, "Malcolm, you're not that bright, so just study and do the best you possibly can, pass your standard grades and leave school and just get a job working in a supermarket."
Damn.
20 years on, yeah, I can't even dream of picking up a job in a supermarket.
Wow. That's
I recently applied for an assistant position at Aldi's, and I had to sit this online situational judgment test, and I failed because they asked these really complex psychological questions. Again, you're not allowed to be ordinary. Neil Kinnock warned the British populace in 1983 not to be ordinary if Thatcher got her way. Well, his prophecy has certainly been fulfilled now. I look back on the last 20 years and how else can I put it? What the hell have I done with my life?
Yeah, that's what I sometimes ask myself though. Just looking back, I'm like, what am I doing? What's going on here? Um, before I continue on, I just want to also say too, yeah, I did find a job in my field, but I didn't find it right away. I graduated around 2012. I was 23, 24 at the times that I finished bachelor's. I was working. I couldn't find jobs anywhere during those times. I was only doing like unpaid internship for like a good like 8, 9 months, which is a pretty damn long time until ended up doing I ended up working at a finally doing like a lab tech job, and then I went to different places, getting paid like a few bucks higher than minimum wage only. And then it wasn't until a few years down the road that I finally got a job that's more suited on my field, and it's actually pretty good pay for my own, for my own degree. So I could see, you know, where the struggle is really coming from. Although I'm thankful that I did not have to suffer as much as Malcolm did, but yeah.
What have I done? Where did it all go? Where did all my friends go? Where did it all go? Where did my sense of wonder, my naive trust in the future, what happened to it? What happened to my youth? Where did
Yeah, and that's what happens when you grow older. As you get older, let's just go back for a moment. By the way, if you're no in your youth, your teens, early to mid 20s, you're like okay, you're more naive. You don't really know much. You're carefree, and then as you get to your late 20s, more so in your 30s, then you really start to see the darkness. You really start to see like, oh my God, what's happening? I'm losing I do have some of that bitterness inside of me as well. So all right, I'll stop talking.
it all go? The answer is I didn't waste it getting drunk, partying too hard, trying to pander to the chicks. I didn't waste it by living a delinquent lifestyle, by by hanging around with gangs, by committing by committing a spree of petty crimes. I didn't waste my life straying from the beaten track. I spent the last 20 years trying my damnedest to keep to the straight and narrow. Because, not least because back at school, the most important things they teach you back at school are conformity, don't question authority, obedience, and that if you work hard and keep your head down and your mouth shut, and if you pass tests, you'll go somewhere, you'll go places.
Sadly, that's not always the case. That's not even most of the cases either. It's work. I mean, hard work alone isn't really gonna get you anywhere. That's the sad part.
As the teachers used to say, you'll come to nothing, son, if you don't behave yourself, if you don't start working. That's what they used to say. They lied.
Yep.
The teachers, they lied to me. The liars. Because that's exactly what I did for the last 20 years. I wasted the last 20 years trying and trying and trying to secure a career, to get my foot in the door. But the best I ever secured were a series of infrequent temporary jobs, nearly all of them on the minimum wage. That was my reward for all my graft, for all my study. That was my reward, and the rewards, especially over the last 8 years, have just diminished. Year after year, financial year after financial year. Until last year, after having clung on to a seasonal job for 4.5 years, I was being paid so little money that I was spending more than I was earning, and I had to leave.
Damn.
But you know what really depresses me more than anything else is that I just never got my life started. I spent all these years working for nothing,
Yeah.
striving for nothing,
Yeah.
studying for nothing. As the Irish used to say, if that's where you want to go, I wouldn't start from where you are now. And that's how it feels. Looking back in the last 20 years, my good behaviour, my good conduct, my careful attempts to write exquisite covering letters and fill out job application forms properly and trying to pursue a career, an objective, all for nothing. All I ever wanted back when I was at school 20 years ago, all I wanted was to belong. All I wanted was a fairly ordinary job, working Monday to Friday, which would have afforded me the chance to meet friends and go places at the weekends. I just wanted to have what a lot of the grown-ups around me had. Just a job, a role, a purpose. I wanted to move into my own place. Back when I was in my early 20s, all I wanted was what other people around me were securing. I just wanted to move into my own place. I wanted a steady career, enough so I could move out of my parents' house, enough so I could finally become an eligible bachelor and finally get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I don't consider these things to be extravagant luxuries. Maybe you do, but I don't. And I must admit, when I visit my siblings and their significant others and their families, my nieces and nephews, it makes me feel depressed. Because it's too late for me now.
Yeah, and that's the thing that happens. I had those feelings before when I used to be underemployed, and then I would look at my cousins. I mean, they're a bit older than me, but they have families, they have good paying jobs, even six-figure jobs, and then here I am like, oh my God, I can't even, you know, I can't even. I'm only making like a few bucks above minimum wage. Yeah, so it was hard, it was hard. So I can understand where he's coming from, but for Malcolm's case, it's even worse because he went further into education and then only to get screwed over. So I don't know what really happened along the way. And I don't know if he was able to maintain connections. And by the way, connections, who is really what helps a lot in the job market or anywhere in general. It's not really about what you know, it's about who you know, sad to say. Um, and I don't and I know I could see Malcolm would come off having that social awkward attitude kind of thing, and that's probably what drives off other folks. I could be wrong about things. I'm just going about what could possibly be going wrong with him. So, and that's why to this day he's still, I mean, he's doing better, you know, right now, but just you know, it's he's still not where he needs to be at the age of 40 plus, but at least he's making progress right now. But I'll just continue the video.
I spent years and years and years trying, studying for this, trying to secure jobs here and there, trying to make a living, trying to build a career. Failed. Just nothing worked. And now I'm trapped here. I've been living in this building now for over 7 years, and I'm worse off than I was when I was 16 when I secured my first job. I earn less money now. I earned less money last year than I did when I was 17. And as the Americans say, no money, no honey. A man who doesn't have a job, who hasn't got a good income, who doesn't live in his own place, who hasn't got it all made, he ain't gonna have a girlfriend. He's scum. He's ineligible. As ineligible as 99% of human beings applying for jobs these days, whether it's for a janitorial post or a CEO position. If you're lacking in just one tiny thing, you don't exist. I get really depressed now. The best years of my life were wasted. Wasted in filling out job application forms. Wasted in trying to build a career in what turned out to be dead end in temporary jobs which came to an end. Wasted in years of college and university. Totally wasted. I could never have imagined 20 years ago that I would have gone to university, because back when I was 14, a lot of people around me insulted me, slagged me off, called me thicko, because my verbal communication has never been above par.
Yeah.
And people teased me for it. All I expected when I was at school was that when I left school I would pick up a job, and I could hold down a steady job and eventually meet someone and move on to the next stage in life. And that has been denied to me ever since. And the best years of my life have just gone down the drain. And I know I am certainly not the only one.
Okay, that's the end of the video. Yeah. So this is Saint Andrean's video. I'll put it on the link with the description below. Thanks for for still maintaining this video. I know he's a great guy. He really is a good guy at heart. He just it's just that social ineptness and that mental health, those some of those mental health issues are what's really been dragging him down. Um and even to this day, I'm still cheering him on. I just hope that he finds a better life for himself. And just keep on moving forward. I mean, I don't have any solution. I still struggle with my life to this day. I mean, sure, I did, work my way up a bit here and there, but I still struggle with being socially awkward. I still struggle having that anxiety. I mean, I have to really keep my cool, especially since I work 13-hour night jobs. I do supervise a I do supervise a team, at my lab, and it's really hard. But okay, enough about me. But I'm just going back to Saint Andrian. I'm just saying, like, I just do wish him the best. I will do more videos on him. And um, yeah, that's just about it. Um, but thanks everybody for watching and have a good one. Oh, and one more thing that I also want to point out, though. Again, I'm not trying to flex my own whatever I have. That yeah, I've able to finally get a job in my field and getting paid, pretty good salary. I'm not trying to flex or brag about that. I have to do it, even though I don't like the position I'm in. I don't like having to lead a team of like 20 people in a lab. Trust me, it really hurts a lot, having to put up with that, during my 13-hour night shifts, and having to like, deal with the managers and my my subordinate operators. It's a tough one. It's tough, even especially for someone with social anxiety and awkwardness like myself, though. But yeah, that's just what I want to throw out there. And I needed this because I don't want to fall behind with my life. I don't want to fall behind with my life. If I lose this, then it's like, okay, that's, my opportunity to catch up is gonna be diminished even further. So, because I mean, I spent my 20s, I wasted my 20s on odd jobs, just trying to get somewhere. And then here I am, I finally found this pretty decent paying job, and I'm able to work up to a to a lead position here. So yeah, that's just that. Anyways, you guys, this isn't about me. This is mainly about Saint Andrean, and that's all it is to it.